You know that feeling, right? You're at a party, or maybe a work event, and you're just stuck, trapped in that endless loop of, so how about this weather? Or, got any big plans for the weekend? And you can literally feel your social battery draining away. Well, if that sounds familiar, this is for you. We're going to dive into the secret power of people who just cannot stand small talk.
So let's just ask it straight up. Does that kind of surface-level chit-chat just completely wipe you out? If you're nodding your head right now, listen. You are not imagining it, and you are definitely not the only one. Turns out, for a certain type of brain, this experience is incredibly common.
And that's really what it is, isn't it? It's a performance. It doesn't feel like a relaxed, easy conversation. It feels like you've been pushed onto a stage, handed a script you never wanted to read, and told to, well, perform. And that act, that performance, is what's so exhausting. It's way more draining than the actual words themselves.
Now that feeling often leads to a pretty harsh question we ask ourselves. What is wrong with me? Am I some kind of social failure? It's so easy to internalize this struggle and think it's a fundamental flaw in our personality. But what if that whole idea is just a myth?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. On one hand, you have the common belief, right? The labels we stick on ourselves or that others might think. Antisocial, awkward, maybe even not a team player. But then you have the cognitive reality, and it's a completely different story. It's not about being bad with people. It's about having a brain that is literally wired for depth, a brain that seeks out meaning, and one that processes information at an incredibly high speed.
So let's actually dig into the science of what's going on up there. Because this isn't just some personality quirk, There are real cognitive reasons for why you feel this way. It all comes down to how your brain is wired.
So first up is this thing called cognitive processing speed. The easiest way to think about it is that your brain is like a super fast computer. It just inhales information, analyzes it, and comes up with a response. Boom, 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 super quickly. But small talk, by its very nature, is slow. It's repetitive. So for a brain that's used to flying, it feels like you're being forced to run advanced software on an old dial-up modem. It's not just slow, it's painfully unstimulating. It's boring. And then you pair that with this other key trait, low social reward sensitivity. See, a lot of people get a little feel-good hit, a little burst of dopamine, just from fitting in or getting a simple nod of approval in a conversation. But for some of us, that reward is tiny. It's barely there. You're not motivated by just fitting in. You crave a bigger prize, something that comes from real connection and a meaningful exchange. Surface-level stuff just doesn't cut it.
So here's the bottom line. When you put those two things together, you get a brain that processes information at lightning speed and is always on the hunt for a genuinely meaningful reward. Small talk gives you neither. It has no speed, and it has no depth. And that's exactly why it feels so unsatisfying.
And this brings us to the core idea, the thing that can really change how you see all of this. The real reason for the struggle, the exhaustion, it's not a flaw in you. It's something this source material calls a mental mismatch.
And this quote right here is everything. Let's read that again. It isn't a social failure, it's a mental mismatch. So what does that mean? It means your brain's operating system just isn't built for the slow, low-data environment of small talk. The problem isn't you. It's the clash between your fundamental wiring and the situation you're in.
I love this analogy because it makes it so clear. Imagine you have this high-performance engine of a mind, right? It's capable of incredible speed, incredible power. Small talk is like pouring the cheapest, lowest octane fuel you can find into that engine. What happens? It's going to sputter. It's going to struggle. It's not going to perform well at all. Not because the engine is broken, but because you're giving it the wrong kind of fuel.
So what do we do with this information? Well, once you understand this mismatch, you can completely reframe the whole thing. This isn't a weakness. It's not a bug in your system. It's actually a feature. In fact, you could even call it your hidden superpower. Think about it. Because your mind isn't wasting all its energy trying to run on that low-grade fuel, it's free to do some pretty incredible things. You're naturally amazing at forging really deep, meaningful connections. Your brain, hungry for real information, becomes a master at creative problem-solving and noticing things other people miss. And maybe, most importantly, you value authenticity above all else, which is the bedrock of any real relationship.
And this right here, this is the final, most empowering way to think about it. If you take one thing away, let it be this. You are not antisocial. You are selectively social. You don't hate people, you just hate the low-grade fuel of shallow interaction. You choose to invest your powerful social energy where it actually matters, in deep,
meaningful, and authentic connection.
So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. Just imagine for a second all the energy you've spent over the years trying to perform, trying to fit in, trying to make that high-performance engine run on bad fuel. What could you build? What could you create or discover if you took all that energy and just redirected it, if you started to fully embrace the true power of your depth? Something to think about.